So you're probably saying negative things to yourself all the time that stop you from doing the things that you actually want to do. So in this video, I'm going to share the most common negative phrases that you might be saying to yourself, and then we go and change your thinking so that you can break free and live your best life. So let's go. What is up, guys? Tran here, and today's video is part 2 of the Healing for Beginners series where we're going to talk about negative self-talk. But first, why is this important to know? One of my favorite speakers from like the 50s, Earl Nightingale, said that our life is shaped by our mind, and we become what we think about. The brain tries to validate what we're thinking, and if we're thinking negative thoughts, it'll start looking around constantly for situations to validate how we're thinking and feeling. And it's like a never-ending cycle of negativity, dude. But where do they come from? The negative thoughts usually stem from childhood, or they could form over time. And they're usually things that people have told us about ourselves in the past, and we just internalized it and thought it was completely true. Like, for example, when you were little, if a parent or a teacher told you that you weren't smart enough, you'll probably carry that thought with you throughout your life. And you'll start thinking that you're not good enough or you're not smart enough to do anything you want to do. It could, of course, manifest in different ways because we're all different and we perceive things differently. But what we need to understand is that the negative self-talk is usually self-inflicted, and it's usually holding us back from achieving what we really want to do in life. We're limited before we even try. And as Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So the first step to overcome negative self-talk is just to become aware of what you're thinking or saying to yourself. And if you have an inner monologue like I do, we can hear our own voices inside our head. And it's not until it's completely quiet, that there are no distractions, that you're able then to hear what you're saying to yourself. You're a little bitch. For those that don't have an inner monologue, it's more about being aware of how you feel, because we usually get the physical sensations before we're mentally aware of kind of what's going on and what we're feeling. So tune into those feelings. So when we're aware of what we're saying to ourselves, the next part is figuring out if what we're saying is true or not. Because remember before, all the negative self-talk is usually from someone else that told us that about ourselves, and we just believed it to be true without any evidence. So is there any sort of evidence to support that claim? And if not, I find that treating it like a joke usually takes the edge off and you won't take it as seriously. All right, so we're gonna make this tea, and then we're gonna do laundry, and then, oh my God. Why did you just do... Oh my God, drama queen. It's okay, it's just water. Jesus. Just clean it up. It's not bad. It's okay. Dude, you never pay attention. Calm down. It's okay. But if it feels like it's deep-rooted or it's justified for some reason and you don't know what it is, it might be easier to just write it out. You know, write out the negative things you say to yourself and keep asking why until you get closer to the answer. And once we figure this out, the next thing we're gonna have to do is counteract the negative thought with a more positive one. And this is gonna take time, especially in the beginning, because if we're talking about negative self-talk that's manifested since we were little, it's gonna take a lot of time to retrain our brains to think differently. And making the conscious choice to fight these negative thoughts is not easy. Like, you have to continuously implement this practice. But when you commit, I promise you the brighter side of life is just waiting for you. And you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do without any limitations that you are setting for yourself. Sometimes you might not be able to do this on your own, and that's completely okay. And this is when I would strongly recommend talking to a therapist, because they might be able to help you uncover something much deeper than you're able to get to yourself. If you feel negative emotions throughout this process, click right here to see the first video of the series where I share a tip that'll help you feel those feelings. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!